Okay, so I just got fired at 40 years old and I wasn't ready. And I'm making this video right now going out to anyone out there who's also been laid off. Maybe you just got fired, maybe it was recent, or maybe you think you're about to get fired and you're not ready and you don't have any preparations, because that's me. Now, if you think this is going to be a video about how to get everything going and a plan or a 30-day step or some kind of course, I'm sorry, but I'm not your guy. But I do want to say that if you're here and you're looking to relate to someone who's also going through what you're going through, that's me. And let me tell you a little bit about what happened. So it's been 2 days now, and it's been really hard to make this video. I've tried a bunch of times to make it and start it, and every single time I've stopped. So today I'm outside because it's really nice, and I figured why not get outdoors and just try to talk about this and tell you guys what happened. So Monday morning, I went into a meeting with my manager, which is normal. It's a Zoom meeting. It's a work from home job. So we meet over webcam, and I got called into the meeting and everything was fine until about 5 minutes before the meeting, when I saw that the owner of the business was also going to hop on. And I immediately knew something was up. It's not a good sign. Only two things were going to happen. Either I was going to get a huge promotion and a fat raise, which was not likely, or I was going to get canned. After a couple minutes of waiting for the meeting to start, I saw them both pop on, my manager and the owner. My manager kind of looked away, and the owner went in to tell me that there's going to be changes and shifts. And one thing that's going to happen is that we're going to rearrange some of our social media managers, which is what I was doing for work. And some of that rearranging included myself getting arranged out of there. And so that's exactly what happened. So I signed off the meeting and everything was amicable. I said my goodbyes, and that was that. And for the last 2 days, I've been kind of reeling. I've been through all sorts of emotions, and I really just wanted to make this video because, again, I couldn't find a video or anyone out there talking about exactly this kind of situation. I was not prepared. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened and how this led up to the situation, and maybe some of the things that you can avoid if you see these signs or if you see yourself heading down this path, because I saw it and I knew what was going to happen. So essentially, I've been at this place for like 2.5 years. And the thing is, the whole time I've been working on my own projects, my own hobbies, and things that I want to turn into businesses and whatnot, right? So my music, I do social media and audio visual art. So I've been working on all that behind the scenes, and I've been dedicating a lot of time to it, right? And recently, I've been dedicating a lot of time to it. Every second that I'm not doing my normal day job, I would be doing my things. I'd be working on my projects. And that's awesome. And that's a great way to go about it because I was getting a lot of stuff done. Only problem with that is that I was also starting to neglect my day job a little bit. And now this is something that you need to be honest with yourself about, and maybe you see it happening. I've heard it called soft quitting, right? Like, you're not exactly not doing your job, but you're not really doing your job all the way. When they let me go, I thought immediately about why I wasn't so surprised. And one of the things that came into my head was I knew what I was doing, and I knew that I was kind of calling it in. And I knew that my work was suffering a little bit. And this funny thing happened. And this is one of the things I want to talk about, what that might be happening with you or with your employer. And I've noticed this before, but it was a different situation. And what happened with my employer was that I feel like they knew, and they kind of started to not support me, not give me as many tasks, not give me as much work. I wasn't getting more workloads. If you start noticing this is happening, just understand, if everyone else is getting work and you're not getting work, there's a reason for that. And I think that that's obviously what led to this happening. It's contract work. So again, they were not getting from me what they needed, and I also wasn't getting from them what I needed. And what I mean by that is I was pretty miserable at that job. I really wasn't having a good time, and there's a lot of times when I was super stressed and I just didn't know what to do. And even though I was working on all these other projects outside of my day job, I let myself start to lower the quality a little bit of my work, either subconsciously or by just focusing so much on what I was doing outside that it started to suffer, and they took note. If you see yourself going into this behavior at your job and what is happening is that you're like slowly being more careless and you're calling in your day job, just know that like they will notice. Not everyone, but some will notice. And I say not everyone because I've had a job before where I was basically ready to quit and they knew I wanted to quit, but they didn't want to fire me at the same time. And this was years ago. And they essentially, both of us, the employer and me, stayed in a limbo of me hating that place and them not liking me being there. But yet they didn't want to fire me and I didn't want to quit. And that's a really terrible place for you to be mentally. And it's a terrible place for the employer and all around just a horrible situation because there's no good feelings there. You know, you're calling it in and they know your work quality is down the drain, but they can't bring it to themselves to just like let you go. So it's a horrible situation and I really want y'all to avoid it. And I want you to avoid it, especially if you're like me and you're not prepared. You might see a lot of videos like this out there where people have gotten laid off and they're like, well, I had a little savings and or I have another opportunity or I shifted to this kind of work. This is why I'm making this video. This is why this is important right now and why I wanted to talk to anyone out there who's in the same situation as me. And frankly, why I just want to hear from y'all in the comments and I want to hear stories because I'm not prepared. That's the thing. I have very, very minimal savings. When I say minimal savings, I mean like I have enough to cover basic needs to some extent for the next few weeks. Don't get it twisted. This isn't like, oh, I got like 2-3 months of savings. No, that's not how this works. And I have to shift and I have to shift quickly. And so I'm making this video to talk to you all because for one, I want you to know that if you're in this situation and you see yourself going down this path, just pump your brakes. Just like, listen to me, y'all. Like, I know you're trying to get out. And especially if you're working super hard, I feel that because you start to have this kind of energy where, you know, oh man, I got motion. I'm doing things outside of this job. So I don't need, you know, I don't need it in many ways. That's how you feel. But the thing is, like, people will take notice. And also, internally for me, I would have felt a lot better if I had just taken pride in doing the job and doing it to my fullest extent. Even if I wasn't happy with it and even if it wasn't where I wanted to be at the moment, if I would have just like locked in, done the job well, and then still done my stuff, I would have been a lot prouder than I am now how things turned out. So that's one thing I want y'all to keep in mind. Like lock in on your hobbies, on your projects, the things you're trying to make happen, maybe the things you're trying to turn into your full-time jobs, but like still just like respect the contract that you have with your employer. And I fully own that. Like, you know, if they're not getting what they need, even if you're not getting what you need, it doesn't matter. The contract's not being met and like they have all right to move on, you know? So I want you to be prepared in that sense. Don't shift and don't start having that mindset until you actually have, you know, maybe some income coming in. Your side hustle is like really earning money and things like that, you know, or whatever it may be for you, whatever that mind shift is, just know that like there is pride in doing your job, even if you don't like what you do, even if you don't respect the place. Like, please let me know what y'all think in the comments, but like there is definitely something good to that. And as you can see, this is how things can end up if you don't have that mindset. Oh man, it's really nice and sunny out here right now. Really glad I came outside. So what am I going to do now, right? That's the question. And right now I'm kind of scrambling. The first 2 days were wild. I went through all kinds of emotions, like I said, and I wasn't sure what to do. But I completely went up and down. I went from like the I got this mindset to like all the like whatever it is, 6-7 steps of like accepting death. And I'm pretty sure I'm still going through that. But yeah, I kind of like it was a blur of emotions. Now, however, I've found a little bit of a calm, some kind of stillness, and a little bit of a focus. And I feel that creating this video is a way to harness those emotions and those feelings and try to make sense of all this. So what am I actually going to do, right? Because if you're watching this video and you just got laid off, you're like, great, well, I got laid off too. And, you know, daps, we can relate and whatnot, homie, but like what do we do now, right? Like, great video. How do we move forward? And here's the thing, that's something I can't really answer for you, but what I can tell you is this. The energy that I had with the projects that I was working on outside of work was real. And even though it ended up affecting my work negatively and ended up in this situation where I was laid off, in many ways, I feel like now is the time to lean into them more than ever. So my advice to you is that thing, whatever it is in your life that moves you, that wakes you up, that makes you smile, that thing that drives you, that thing you love doing, I say you lean into it. Now, it's a little esoteric, right? It's a little bit in the clouds, because I know a lot of people are probably watching this going like, yo, yeah, but how do I make money? Like, yes, how do I monetize? How do I, pay my bills? Because that's the real thing, right? And so I'm going to tell you two things that I'm going to do and what my plan is, and maybe this will help you. So first thing is, I was creating a lot of content before on YouTube, not with this channel. This is a brand new channel, but I was creating content with, I make music. So I was putting up beats on YouTube, selling beats. I also like to do social media. So I have various brands, like creative brands, for music and whatnot that I have created online. So I'm working on those. I love YouTube, right? So also why I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to put myself out there and start learning how to talk to everyone, because I really love YouTube. I've learned so much from it, and I've been helped by so many people online just telling their stories and relating, and I wanted to do the same, right? So I'm going to start creating content. Anyone around me in my life is always telling me if I can do anything well, it's yap, right? And I am a yapper, so I'm going to start talking. It's something I like to do. It's something I'm not very comfortable with, but I do love doing it. And I always find myself coming back to it. And one of the things I love the most in life is just talking to people and hearing their stories. So I'm going to talk, and hopefully y'all can follow me on my journey here, and we can talk to each other. Like, please leave comments. I want to hear back from you. I want to see what you guys have to say, because that's really important, because this community isn't just me talking into nowhere. It's me wanting to relate to y'all, right? So I'm going to start making content, and I'm going to dive and lean directly into my strengths, right? My talking, my musical ability and talent. I'm also going to attempt now to start to sell and promote my music more online. So streaming services, but also direct. I'm going to start reaching out to people directly to sell my beats and music. So that's one avenue. I'm also going to start performing more locally. So there's like a lot of gigs I've played in the past here in my local city, and those are small gigs and they don't pay much, but that can add up. So I'm going to be seeking to play gigs locally again and play music. I'm also going to just start promoting myself in general as a musician, as far as music production and music abilities, like being able to engineer for people, produce music, record, and work online to help people, like, basically create their songs, right? And I have a few avenues in which I want to make money with that. So I want to monetize on YouTube, and also want to sell digital products and courses online, and not like get rich courses or anything like that. I basically want to offer my services as a musician and a producer to anyone that wants to learn about music and producing and making electronic music and things like that. So something real. It's a skill I've put years into. So I just want to sell my services. I'm not trying to sell a course on like how to sell a course, if you know what I mean. So the second thing is too, I'm actually going to give myself a time limit, because the reality of this is that as much as I want this to work and as much as I want all this to pop off, right, those things take time. And when you get suddenly laid off and you're in the situation, you're scared, you don't know what to do, you need money. Like, I'm hopping on eBay, I'm on Craigslist looking to see if people got side gigs, I'm asking homies if they want to let me play a show, all kinds of stuff. Anything and everything I can do right now to make money is viable. However, I do want to focus on this, all of this content creation, because it's where my heart and passion really lies, right? Content creation and music. So that's where I'm going to focus my energy. But if I don't get any motion going soon, I need to have a backup plan. And then I am going to go out and I'm going to get a normal 9-to-5 job. I'm going to give myself approximately 30 days until I even start shifting towards that direction, because I do want to give myself a chance. But I also need to be realistic, right? Rent's got to get paid, bills have got to get paid. And in your situation right now too, right, you need a normal job. You need money. Maybe you have imperative bills, like bills that have deadlines that need to get paid, and you do not have the money for it, right? Like, I have my last check, and like I said, I wouldn't call savings, but like I have a little bit of a buffer, maybe a few weeks. And so I need to move now, right? I have to go back out there, and I have to accept getting just a normal job, any job that I can get to pay the bills. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's getting really cold now out here, but it's still pretty nice. So what are you going to do now, right? I gave you my advice and a little bit of how to avoid maybe being in my situation. But what you do now is up to you. I think you should lean into your strengths. I think you should lean into you. I think you should give yourself a shot. And I think that you should bet on yourself. You should do that thing now that you've been putting off, and you should take the time to focus on it. Give it all the energy you have and just give it a shot. I think it's worth it. I think everyone out there watching this, if you're in this situation and you're scared, it's worth it. Like, try it, just try it. You got nothing to lose. You already ain't got a job, just like me. So just try it, So I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you've connected with me. If you want to watch more videos like this, follow the channel. I'm going to start logging my journey here and putting up videos about how this goes and what I do and if I can make this succeed. So thank you everyone out there for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.